other day and I realized that software engineers have such an unfair advantage. It's crazy. Let me explain. If you're new, my name is Zazo. I've been in the tech industry for almost a decade at this point, and I've done a bunch of different roles spanning from software engineering all the way to data analytics. And I realize that software engineers have such a unfair advantage in just the world in general. Like I said, I've spanned and I've done things like being a data analyst and, doing other different things like data engineering and those types of things. And what I realize is that all of those roles, you are dependent on something or someone else to kind of provide your job. So, for what I mean like that is, as a data analyst, your job is to go through and take out business insights from data. But the thing is like you need data in order to do data analysis. The same thing with data engineering. You need data to do actual data engineering. Can you get fake data and do some stuff that way? Of course you can. But what real value does that provide, right? But with software engineering, you can literally just take an idea in your head, some pipe dream that's just up there, and you can make it a reality. And that is such like a superpower. And throughout these couple of years, I kind of gotten away from that and just been in the, the 9 to 5, just doing what I need to do and that kind of thing. But then I realized why I always come back to software engineering. And the real reason is because of that superpower. Literally just being able to have a laptop, a computer, and internet, and you can create whatever you want, right? It just takes time and it takes your curiosity. Like literally no other skill gives you this level of creation and power. Even before I was a software engineer, I was doing, software quality assurance. And if there's no code to test or any system to test that was built by a software engineer in the first place, then I don't have anything to do in that role, right? And there's a lot of roles like that. Like a developer can literally just wake up one day and have an idea for a tool, startup, some automation scripts of some sort, and literally by nightfall can have that existing in the real world and doing and providing some actual value. That is so powerful because as I was thinking about all these different professions, most of the time you need other things, like a lot of different things like funding or, you know, a business behind you or something like that to actually do your job. So for example, like you want to be like a financial advisor, you got to do all these different things. If you want to be a doctor, you got to do all of these different things. You got to go to school. If you want to be a lawyer, you got to do all these different things. There's just a whole lot of stuff, even in tech. Like I mentioned, the data analyst, the data engineer, the data scientist. What type of models and what type of predictive models are you making if you don't have customers and you don't have data on those customers, or you don't have the proper amount of, let's say sales data or digital data to even, start making a predictive model off of? You are dependent on something, right? Software engineers are literally dependent on two things: having a computer and two, having internet. And you can make what you want to make. Software engineers have literally an infinite sandbox and can play and do whatever they want and are not really limited by the physical world like a lot of different professions. Like you can just solve problems, that can take literally entire companies to do. But you can do that solo. That is powerful. And that's what I was thinking about as I always have this battle between, doing my 9 to 5 and then somehow having the urge and wanting to always build software. And I realize that it's because it's so powerful. Software literally compounds. You can write code once and you can run it 1,000, a million, a billion times. A single script can save you something like 10 hours a week. A single product can impact 100,000, a million different people. And that's just leverage that no other job can really provide. You know what I mean? And you want to know the craziest thing about it is this playing field is wide open. Literally anyone, anywhere can learn to code. You don't need a fancy degree. Does it help you with the 9 to 5? Yes, but you don't need a 9 to 5 to actually make a living with software engineering. And that's what I'm realizing. Like I knew that, but sometimes getting so caught in the day to day when you got a lot of stuff going on, you tend to forget these things. It just gets lost in the sauce. But you have all the access to becoming a software engineer. If you're watching this channel, then chances are you might want to become a software engineer. You might already be a software engineer. But I just got really motivated when I had these, kind of thoughts about this just really unfair advantage that software engineers have. And the reason why I always go back to code. Me and code have had a very, very on and off relationship. And I never really understand why I always go back. I do, but there's just something that hit me is like, you go back because of this reason. It's literally the power of create. You can create whatever you want. And now with AI, it makes it a lot faster. But I just want to get on here and say that. So if you forgot why you got into software engineering or you're just in the 9 to 5 grind, just remember you have more power and more ability than just the 9 to 5. And you have the power of creation and you can create any type of software you want. It's just going to take time, curiosity, learning. But those things, in a sense, come for free, right? You don't need to pay for curiosity. You don't need to necessarily pay for time. I mean, guess time is money, but you understand what I mean. Like, you don't need to depend on a whole bunch of things. You just need to find and make time and just have that curiosity and just start building. And that is so unfair to people in the world that cannot do the same. But at the end of the day, it is a choice. Anybody can learn to code, but I also think that it's not for everybody. So I'm going to end the video here. Just know that if you can code, do not underestimate what that means. That means you can create whatever you want. And if you're learning to code, just remember, keep going because you're just that one skill away to be able to create freedom, opportunity, and impact all from your laptop or computer with a simple internet connection. Make sure you use it. Love, peace, and chicken grease. I'll see you on the next one.